Okay. President Dibblman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley.
Here.
Treasurer McLeod. Parliamentarian Higgin. Senator Mendez. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Dare.
Here.
Senator Hendricks. Senator Johnson. Senator Williams. Senator Perez. Senator Duda.
Here.
Senator Williams.
Here.
Senator Freshour. Senator Nagarajan.
Here.
Senator Mosley.
Here.
Senator Garrison.
Here.
Senator Chonzen.
Here.
Senator Kaufman.
Here.
Senator Pellegal. Senator Method.
Here.
Senator John.
Here.
Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Niguez. Senator Meek. Senator Robertson. Senator Levanka. Senator Daniel. Senator Van Zook.
Here.
Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Farouk.
Here.
Senator Osteen. Senator Dang.
Here.
Senator Mazzock. Senator Cooper. Senator Thomas. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Cox.
Here.
Senator Gobble. Senator Adams. Senator Strong.
Here.
Senator Copeland.
Here.
Senator Seeley.
Is there any discussion over last week's minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving last week's minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Is there anyone here for open forum? None?
Thanks, Abs.
All right. Officer reports, I'm going to highlight it again. We do have a town hall meeting tomorrow. We'll cover the athletic fee. I've been helping to organize that, getting everything squared away for that for most of this week and most of last. Dr. Patterson will be there. Dr. Tidwell will be there for a little bit as well. So we are going to have both of them there to answer questions. Please be in attendance if you can and bring people with you. We've also been working on getting everything ready for the rest of our end-of-year events. I'll let Shannon cover those in her section of Vice President Seeley.
Hi guys, this past week I have really worked on our last sort of programming for the year, including everything for Patriot Days, which would be Socks in a Box, elections, and then Patriot Games. I hope everyone saw the module for Patriot Games that was on Canvas. I'm getting a lot of blank stares, so maybe not. So Patriot Games is sort of is something that Bria, what's the name of her office? I forget. Like, what does she really work for? Her and I really put this together, and it's going to be really awesome because we find that showcases and org fairs are not really attracting students anymore. People aren't interested in them. So we've devised Patriot Games, and it will be a competition between student orgs on campus throughout the whole week of Patriot Days. And you'll be able to come out and cheer for your team and participate in physical events and puzzle events and connect with other students because they're going to see us doing fun and crazy stuff. And you'll hopefully be able to connect with other groups and students to help them become more aware of the kind of orgs we have on campus. So there will be a physical event and a puzzle event every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the amazing race will be on Friday, which is a combination of physical and puzzle events. There's a quiz on Canvas. Please go fill it out. We can have up to 15 people participate in each event. And you can participate in one event, you can participate in all of them because we as an org are signed up to play. It's going to be really fun. There's things like, there's like a logo puzzle, there's a castle building, a pizza eating contest, there's like frisbee golf or ultimate frisbee, kickball, things like that. It's going to be so fun, and I will have for you as soon as Bria gives it to me because she told me she was going to give it to me, but I didn't see her today. What? Okay, but I will email her again or see her again. Exactly what day each event is and what time. So on the Canvas quiz, just click or sign up for any event that looks interesting to you. and I will email you about the days and times of the events you picked, and you can let me know if you're available on those days and times. Does that make sense? It's gonna be so much fun, and there's really cool prizes like an exclusive T-shirt. We'll be able to. There's some other ones like scheduling your events for a whole year, and something else. There's like 3 big prizes. They're pretty good. It's pretty cool. SG dinner, the 24th, elections on the 19th and 20th. I'm trying to think of something else for Katie, but I can't remember what it is. Abby, I believe you're next. Sorry, guys.
Secretary McDaniel.
One question quick. What is the week of Patriot Days again?
Next week.
Okay.
Next week, everybody.
Okay. So I was working with Braylon today to get a lot accomplished for her transition to secretary, and we were quite successful, I'd say. Also, the SGA dinner is going to be April 24th. It's going to take the place of an SGA meeting, so it's going to be a mandatory event. I understand that people like Zoom purposes and people that have to leave early for class. I get that y'all won't be able to either stay or make it or whatever. Just let us know regarding, there's also a quiz on Canvas for that. If y'all can do that as soon as possible, because I need to contact the vendor regarding like vegetarian wise.
You can pull up your phone right now.
Yeah, if y'all wanted to just,
super easy.
yeah, I just need to know vegetarian or dietary restrictions and RSVP, because I need to be able to give them a number and who's vegetarian and who's not. So yeah, if y'all will do that by the end of the meeting, that would be perfect.
Locked. Unacceptable.
What? Maybe it's
Is anyone else seeing it's locked or is it open? Yeah. Yeehaw.
okay. Perfect. So yeah, again, that's going to replace the meeting. So it'll be, we have it reserved from 5 to 8, but
We'll start at 5:15.
yeah, we'll start it at
regular meeting
5:15.
time on Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's in the alumni house.
So secretary.
Sorry, babe.
Just
I just remembered.
yeah, and that's really all I got for you, I think. Again, take the quiz.
Oh wait, what did your committee do today? Oh no,
I'm
that
gonna
was
tell you that in committee reports.
Just kidding. You're right.
Treasurer McLeod.
It's been a day.
Hey, so this week actually working on getting the SGA awards that will be handing out later in the year, and so I think they look really cool, so hopefully you'll get one. And also I finished putting together the town halls in Monty and Palestine, and one in Palestine will be on April 17th, 1:30 to 2:30. Longview will be 12 to 1 and April 18th. So that's all I've been doing this week.
Parliamentarian Hicken is not here. She was off winning another golf tournament.
Yeah, also.
So
She got a hole in one, so shout out to her. She's a boss.
back to back. Very proud of her. Student voice reports. Let's start with the College of Engineering.
Josh?
There's got to be at least something in each of y'all's areas. Okay, there's something's going on. So even if it's something for a class or to talk to a friend, try to report on something that's going on in those areas. It's not always bad or a problem. Just talk about something that's representative areas.
How was the engineering game night? That happened since the last meeting, right?
Oh yeah, that was really successful. We actually pulled in 100 people.
It's really good.
So everyone, about 50 of those people were able to get certificates. So for the first hit, we gave them out, and we got all including a game club that they wanted to help people as well. So yeah, but I have asked around the engineering college. There's nothing really negative to report. Most people are really bogged down on this. I think I wish that our other center was here. Their ASCE to competition really recently, but I haven't heard the results of that yet.
Longview campus was not in attendance.
I think she might be. Patty, are you on Zoom? I can't tell. No, I don't think she is. Okay.
Houston campus.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, so we had an event pretty well attended, had about a little over a couple dozen students. I think in part because we were giving away some of the old logo swag. We got a lot of good feedback and some interesting opportunities. Most of the issues escalated by the students. There were a lot of positive items talking about like the parking at the location and the intake advising. But some items for us kind of fall into two big areas, and that was facilities and the transitional advising. So for the facilities, we're in an HCC facility, so a local community college facility that we're essentially subleasing. So we have a lot of technical issues associated with that. The Wi-Fi is pretty inconsistent. There's no real printing services except for a single printer that's pretty universally out of paper. The hours are limited by the HCC. So whereas you're used to having a college that's open at maybe 2 a.m. or overnight, we close down at 10, and we're really getting rousted around 8 or 9 by the campus police. And especially our labs, we have no access to labs generally after office hours, so usually after 5 p.m. I know O'Marley even had kind of gotten from some feedback from the students on some other network issues. I don't know, O'Marley, you still out there? But I believe we'd actually lost even the one on-campus computer network that we have. We have one computer lab, and that pretty much went down for the entire day. And being that we're so dependent on school. After one opportunity though in facilities we have is we also don't have any branding on site. So we previously at the campus had a UT Tyler flag that was pretty frayed. Thankfully, they just took it down. So now you can't really tell that UT Tyler is anywhere nearby. There was a small sign, and by small, I mean about 7-inch by 7-inch applique underneath the HCC sign outside. As of this week, some driver has taken that down. So hopefully that'll be rebuilt, and we have obviously an opportunity to rebrand that. So that's something for us to look at supporting, I think, because otherwise there's no real visible UT Tyler indicator for the campus unless you went into the building, into the second floor, into the office. And then it's just complaints about advising, and the biggest item for us being that normally they're working on improving it. They've tried a different system this year, but we don't have an automated system of removing advising holds. We have a single advisor for all categories of students at HCC. So we've got 400 to 500 students here who all have to pass through a single advisor. They tried a group advising setting this semester that was an improvement, but it probably isn't meeting all the way there the needs of a lot of students who don't need sort of the one-on-one advising, but just need to get to their registration. And that's the information that we collected.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you for that. We'll try and I'll email you later about working with maybe our marketing department on getting some of the new stuff out there, increase y'all's presence up there as far as UT Tyler branding. Committee reports, we'll start with student life.
Oh, okay, well, Student Life made the Snapchat geo filter for elections, and that was made and purchased last week. It's actually a lot harder than you would think. I don't know how everybody and their mom makes a Snapchat filter for every party that they have. It's really difficult. And we also worked on more stuff for the SGA dinner, such as centerpieces, and helped Abby and her committee put together the catering order that we will have for dinner that night.
Communications.
So my sweet committee thought of Via Montez when I wasn't around. Y'all are so sweet, but it's just too expensive. So I had to make the executive decision. We're now having Stanley's. So that is what the survey's out there for regarding vegetarian purposes. There's a veggie taco and baked potato that are going to be options. Also, everything is gluten-free except for the bread we're going to get. So we narrowed down meats and sides in my committee, and we also looked into more centerpieces ideas. I looked into the beta fish idea for centerpieces and got straight shut down. But that's okay, Josh. Still my favorite. Also, Cheryl came up with a really cool another social media ad for the elections. It's really cool. And last thing, I just wanted to thank all my committee members for being so cool and helpful. Y'all were great this year, and I could not have survived without y'all. This was our last meeting, so I just wanted to say that. Thank y'all.
SJC?
We met last week. We didn't have one we actually met with, but they go SGSC guidelines, and we went through and read the whole guidelines and thought about everything that happened this year and what we need to improve on the guidelines. We're spending a lot of time just trying to improve it and ideas. And we have one request.
Rules committee.
So we did not meet this week. Katie was away winning a tournament again. And we will be back next week. And we should be presenting the bylaws in the near future. Or we worked on, I don't know when.
Student affairs.
We don't have any research for this. Should we advertise the library?
I feel like extra advertisement there is never a bad idea. Secretary McDaniel.
Isn't that kind of, I would advertise it no matter what, but isn't that the purpose of like the week before thing? Typically.
Yes, but
Yes.
still, I think best case scenario is to not have it be on a lack of information on our end.
It's just something that everyone's gonna have to reach out for because I only have so many followers, and that's a big ish deal. So.
I couldn't see that.
Josh, could Student Affairs draft an email to DOS and have DOS send out an informational email to students about this change that would be very impactful to them?
You could draft an email, and as of at the end of the week, SJ will have to do this.
Okay. So in your next meeting, draft an email that could be sent out to all students, telling them that, explaining sort of the situation, and maybe that will be helpful in spreading the word.
Senator Tron.
So last week, I thought we were also doing like a poster outside the library. Are we still doing that? Like a little like, hey guys, you need like an ID drink. I'll be 2 more miles, 10 miles. That was an idea. I didn't know if it was going to be implemented.
I could reach back out to Jeannie to see what actual physical marketing that they're going to do on the building and beside it. But I believe that they were talking about different ways to handle that, but I'm not sure the exact specifications on those. Secretary McDaniel.
When she came and talked to us, did she want necessarily just like our like approval of it, or want like our like logo with something along with this?
Just our approval.
So is this something that they would necessarily market, not us? They were just trying to put the idea out towards students.
We approved their idea.
Mhm.
It is their responsibility for its implementation.
That's what I'm wondering.
This time, is there any old business? And we have no old business, any new business?
Oh man, it was on my agenda.
I know, it was on the agenda. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, Harry. Okay. Well, I have some new business then.
Okay.
Vice President Seaver.
Motion to create and adopt a resolution regarding online examination.
It's been motioned and seconded to create and adopt a resolution concerning online examination.
Yes.
You have the floor.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Can we pull this up, please?
Yes. Hold on. Sorry. Okay.
So I recently got an announcement from a professor that sort of informed our class that the university is looking to move online examinations from how they've been in the past to a service called ProctorU. I don't know if anyone here has used ProctorU. I have. Is it up?
Oh, well, my computer needs it.
I have. And when I got that, I became very concerned for students because of the experiences I have had with ProctorU, as well as students in graduate nursing and other graduate programs here on campus. So I can see a lot of you don't know a lot about ProctorU. It's an online exam service. You log in and a proctor helps you, well, they watch you take your exam through a webcam. They're on the other side, they can see you, they can also see your screen. So then they watch as you take your exam, and the goal of ProctorU is to protect the integrity of online education. The idea is that you shouldn't be using resources such as notes, books, Google, and they ensure that online exams aren't being taken advantage of by students. This is the equipment requirements that ProctorU lists on their website. You have to have a webcam, you have to have a PC with these programs or a Mac with those programs, a certain internet speed, certain memory, things of that nature. Tech words I don't know, but that's a lot of requirements. Additional requirements and things that are not supported. If you have a Chromebook, a tablet, a Surface, you cannot use ProctorU. I can put this on Canvas, but I won't take up any more of your time reading it. There's just a lot of things like a webcam, a microphone, things like that. Here is a video about the requirement for the testing environment. Abby, how's it? There we go. And how the exam works. It's only like 2 minutes.
Hello, and welcome to ProctorU. Please have your photo ID ready. Acceptable forms of ID are a valid and current government-issued driver's license, state ID, or passport. You may also use the school ID from the institution you are testing with. All programs on your computer will need to be closed, unless they are an allowed resource for the exam. Your computer's display settings will also be checked to ensure that duplicate displays are not being used, as this is not permitted. For Mac users, the screenshot function will be disabled. However, your proctor will re-enable this function at the end of your exam. In the event that you experience technical issues with your system or network, we will provide you with personalized, expert technical support to help you get connected. Your proctor will need to see the physical screen of your computer, so please have a mirror or cell phone ready. This will be used to show the proctor around the edges of the screen. CDs, glasses, compact mirrors, or bread toasters will not be accepted for the monitor scan. Your work area needs to be clear of any clutter or materials that are not permitted for your exam. This includes the work area, the floor underneath your work area, and the walls. Your testing environment also needs to be in a private location, preferably at home, with no one else in the room. Public and outside locations are not permitted. The area should be well lit so your proctor can see you clearly. Your proctor will ask for a 6-point camera pan of the testing environment. This includes a slow pan of all walls in the room, the desk or table, and the floor around the work area. If you are using an external camera, you will slowly rotate the camera and pause at each wall for 2 seconds before slowly rotating to the next. If you are on a laptop, you will simply pick it up and follow the same instructions. You will be asked to show your cell phone and put it away before the exam is started. You will also be asked to remove any smartwatches or tablets. You will need to stay in view of the camera at all times during the exam. Your proctor needs to see you from, at minimum, chin to forehead during the entire exam. Keep in mind that talking or reading the questions aloud is prohibited during the exam. The allotted time for your exam does not begin until the startup process has been completed and your proctor has unlocked the exam. Please do not be alarmed if your proctor changes during the exam session. This will not disrupt your exam. It will continue to be proctored for its duration. After notifying your proctor that your exam is finished and the logout process is...
Okay, I think that's all we need. So I will continue with, how do I do this? Resume slideshow. There we go. Okay, so clearly that's a lot of requirements for your testing environment. It's a pretty extensive process. They didn't even tell you about the identification process. You show your ID and you have to take a quiz to verify your identity. Not that there's a problem with that, but it is a strenuous process. It takes about 30 minutes. There is a cost to students at our university to take your exams. Costs range based on the length of your exam. Here, my undergraduate accounting class has a 1-hour exam and it costs $17.50 per exam. Longer exams cost more. The online Masters in Healthcare Management lists the cost for their exams on their webpage. 2 courses currently use the exam monitoring service ProctorU. The cost is $25 per exam. It'll be $50 to $75 if you for each course that uses the service. So that's a total of 2 to 3 exams. Other programs do use this service, but they didn't list the cost. The University of Louisiana Lafayette website lists the cost for all of their exams, and I'll show you these for reference. ProctorU fees: a 60-minute exam is $15. 60 minutes to 120 minutes is $19.75, and 120 minutes or more, 120 minutes to 180 minutes is $25, and an exam lasting more than 180 minutes is $30. If you register for your exam late, or you miss your exam and have to reschedule it, there is a fee for that as well. So these are some major concerns I would like us to discuss. I'm sure there's more out there, but these are some major concerns not only from myself, but from other students who have had to use this service. The first is that if this becomes a campus-wide standard for online exams, some students may not have access to the equipment that ProctorU requires you to have. And the university currently does not have webcams or microphones outfitted in the library or the business building computer labs. A second concern is that students may not have access to a testing area that meets all requirements. Also, currently the university has no area that you could take your exam that meets these requirements. I know we have a testing center, but the testing center cannot accommodate every online student that we have. And I also don't know that if the testing center is outfitted with the necessary equipment and meets the criteria either. I haven't been in there myself. The final concern is that students will have to pay when scheduling their exams. You will not be able to use your financial aid for this because you can only schedule your exam in a certain window. So as the semester goes on, your financial aid is not available. And as a third party, you have to use a credit card. So this becomes a purely out-of-pocket cost for students. Another financial concern is that online classes already accrue more fees than in-class classes. Online students pay for books and access to online homework platforms. Now they'll also pay for access to exams, which creates an even bigger obstacle and financial burden on students. So what I hope SGA will consider, why this really matters is because graduate school nursing programs and the accounting department and other departments already use ProctorU, and their students have expressed concerns, but these concerns have not been addressed. These concerns would be amplified if ProctorU became the standard campus-wide for online exams. And it's SGA's duty to advocate for the needs of students and have these issues addressed. What I hope SGA can discuss and accomplish next week, I do not feel we can accomplish this week, especially considering I've contacted the provost for more information about this, and maybe he's already addressed these, or his office or whoever can have answers to some of these concerns. I don't know yet, but I didn't want to save it for next week, considering next week would be our last real meeting. I hope that we can draft a resolution for next week and adopt it, that the university should delay the implementation of ProctorU on our campus until students are adequately informed. This is a major change to the way online exams have been given. And if it just starts in the fall and no one knows what's happening, students may be upset and unprepared. Second is that the university should delay the implementation of ProctorU until administration with SGA can investigate other service that protect academic integrity, that is no cost to students, and addresses these other concerns, such as the lockdown browser that's provided on campus. Should the university require the use of ProctorU, the university must provide equipment and testing spaces that meet the ProctorU requirements so that there's no obstacle for students to be successful in online classes. And finally, should the university require the use of ProctorU, the university must incur the cost of examinations and not inflict the financial burdens upon students, because the cost of ProctorU exams cannot be covered by financial aid. And that's the end. Okay. And so obviously we can't accomplish this today, but I hope that we can discuss it and iron out concerns and what we want out of a resolution for this, if there is anything that we feel we should do, and that I can continue to contact the provost and even have him here next week if possible, because this is a major change that would impact students. And I think that personally, we should be involved in this change and do something.
Secretary McDaniel.
So I know that you've done this before. You have to pay for the allotted time you're given? Like, do you have to pay prior to your exam? So if I was given 2 hours for a test, but only took me 30 minutes, I would still pay for that 2-hour exam? Okay. And the second thing I was going to say is, one thing that I think we need to make clear is we're technically a commuter school. And so the online, this is like people's escape from the university. So having those online accesses, I mean, I feel like I've used this before. I don't know if TJC, Derek, I don't know if you can back me on this. TJC, I think, uses this for some things. And I've done this before where I've been able to sit in a room, like my room. But it sounds like the rules have gotten more extensive. The only problem with this is like those are ProctorU's rules that the university, I don't think, can change. So I don't know. We need to make that.
Senator Johnson.
Yeah, as someone that uses ProctorU currently in class, I was aware that I was, going to have to use ProctorU, but I was not aware on the syllabus that it cost $25 per test, and I had to take it twice. So that was a total shock to me, because she said, "Oh yeah, you have to set the account, blah blah blah," but it never said anywhere that it paid $25. And like, this is mediocre service. Like, I've taken it twice, and every time I've taken it, it's gotten worse. It's not something that, like, okay, I've obviously taken these credit tests, but if I'm paying $25, I expect, someone to, like, at least, be there on time, because I waited 20 minutes before, just to even start the test for somebody to get in the lobby, just to, get the thing started. It's a long process. So.
Senator Nagaraj.
As far as the cost and whatnot, have y'all thought about using Integrity?
Vice President Seaman.
That's part of this conversation. Is I've certainly thought about a lot of things since I found out about it this morning, but I don't know what the academic offices or whomever has made this decision. That one of my questions to Dr. Mamaran was, is this information accurate? Will the university-wide online classes use this service? And if he says no, then we can still address some of these concerns for the programs that already use it. But if he says yes, it's even more imperative that we address the concerns of students using this service. I am aware that there are other services out there that do a similar, or that achieve the same mission of protecting the academic integrity of online education without having a cost to students.
I was going to say that you can still take your test on Canvas, and it will still proctor you, and also it will send to your teacher as well. My teacher always gives me like a thumbs up or whatever whenever my tests have been submitted with the recording. So.
Senator Dare.
So I saw the video that the admin is the one who disables display settings and screenshot capabilities. So they get like admin privileges to your PC. Do they get what all do they get access to on my computer?
Part of the setup process requires that you allow them to have remote control. You have to download their program onto your computer, and you give them access to view your screen and have sort of outside control over your computer. And then they go in and they check your settings. They make sure that you don't have like a duplicate screen somewhere, things like that. And so it does require you to download something onto your personal computer as well. Not that I've had any issues with the downloading, but that is a factor into why part of the resolution should call upon the university to provide the testing equipment that meets the requirements, so that you don't have to download things onto your computer, or even if your computer doesn't have a webcam or a microphone. Not every computer does.
Senator Morrison?
Is it your understanding that all the online teachers are going to be required to use this for their classes, or they're going to be up to their choice? Because it feels like just kind of going over the heads of the teachers who may choose to use this for their classes or choose not to. I feel like that's not right.
Vice President Seeley?
Again, that's why I've contacted Dr. Mamoran, and he can say whether or not, but the announcement that was sent to my accounting class was that all online classes will use ProctorU. Whether that's just one professor. It's one professor, and I can't tell you how accurate it is, but if that is coming from a professor, surely that professor didn't make it up out of thin air, and that we shouldn't delay discussing it, but we should delay taking action until we hear back officially from Dr. Mamoran about the size and scope of this service being used on our campus.
Senator Dukes?
I've had to use the service before in the past. My experience with it was they can stop your testing anytime if anything happens in the background at all. They'll interrupt you. The thought process gets ruined. In general, I also have issues with them taking control of your computer. They can go through your information if they want to. They have control of the coding settings and stuff. I have financial information on my computer. I don't want to do that anymore. I actually went home and said, hey, something happens, I'm going to see you. So they let me have different options. So test instead of online ProctorU, I test in person. I wonder if there's a way we could do an option, you don't have the capability of doing it, where you don't feel comfortable with ProctorU, someone have control of your computer, you only move some, hey, it's not okay, you test in person. Could it be an option?
Senator Van Zoot?
Well, this concerns me as somebody who doesn't personally own a laptop at all. I own an iPad. And a lot of students that I've seen around campus don't own laptops. A lot of them are switching circuits, tablets, stuff like that. It's just easier to carry. And I was going to kind of piggyback off what you said too. I was going to say if it is an option, there's got to be some way to be able to say if for some reason we can't change this and it does happen, then there's got to be a way for us to be able to get a testing center or do something in person. Because there's no way. I know right now we're getting internet change to be fine, but I know there's no way in the world that the internet there would be able to support all of that. And not only that, but people at home who are taking the test, their internet would have to be perfect in order to support all of that.
Vice President Seeley?
And I think that's why my thoughts on this presentation, this resolution, calls on the university to provide the necessary equipment to take the exams. That clearly ProctorU has strict requirements, and that obviously not every student has access to a computer with a webcam and a microphone and high-speed internet. And that shouldn't be your burden or your obstacle if you're not choosing to use this particular service. If the university made that decision for you, we as an SGA, I feel, should advocate for the university to provide students every opportunity to succeed in these online classes.
Senator Mosley?
Why can't they go to the testing center? Why do they have to pay an extra $50 for a test that is required for them to take as a part of the class anyway?
Senator Johnson?
So the money is going to the person that's behind the computer screen prior to the test. So that's what the money's going for. So, and when it comes to the testing center, it's mainly for, some of there's some users you might know, but it's mainly for students that have, accommodations inside the office. And this is not that big, so it can't accommodate everyone. But to your question, ProctorU has complete control of your computer. Once you click OK, they have complete control over all your files and everything. So yeah, it's kind of scary.
Secretary McDaniel?
Oh, okay. So if someone sees a testing center, would they have to pay this fee?
No.
Senator Trondley?
I just want to also say that not just the accounting has this struggle, because actually I was staying at VP and I heard this concern as well with other students about having hopefully an online student center. You know, because we have a student assessment center, but having a separate one just for online students, rather than provided by the university, rather than having them pay. Possibility.
Senator Kaufman.
Majority of students who are taking online classes, usually due to the fact that they're working, they didn't have time to come to the class, so they prefer online, make it easier for their working schedule. But those folks also live real close to the campus, so they should be given the option to say from the beginning of the course that I wish to take online exam, or I wish to go on campus and take it at the testing center. Now, if those that are going to take it on online, you know, the syllabus should also spell out how much it's going to cost online and everything, so that they can incorporate that into the fees in the beginning of the program, where student financial aid can be offered and included.
Vice President Seeley.
So the use of UT Tyler does offer fully online degrees. These degrees are often used by students that are out of town, students that, you know, that don't live here in Tyler, so the testing center isn't even an option for them. Because their degree is fully online, they never have to be on campus, and then they can take advantage of it from their home. They can get a better degree without having to move their family or move their job. So the testing center wouldn't be an option for those people. And because financial aid cannot be used on ProctorU, because the exam registration is open for a period of time. You can't register for all of your exams for the semester all at once. And so then you have to use your credit card. And that's why it would be favorable for the university to incur the cost, because this service requires it to become an out-of-pocket cost for students. It's a third party, you have to use your credit card, and the cost is spread out throughout the semester, making it impossible to use your financial aid. Currently, I don't know if there's a model that they have or a way they could work with the university to change that, but currently that is how that works, and why why students should not be made to pay this cost if it's going to become a requirement that you use this service.
Senator Osteen.
Since it is a third party, is UT Tyler ready to be liable for anything that happens to use, you know, stolen credit cards, identity fraud, theft, any of that? The computers completely open to strangers.
That's certainly something I'm sure the Dr. Memran's office has taken care of extensively, because I know that is the first question the university has when making moves like this. So as far as that goes, I'm certain Dr. Memran and his office and whomever has made this decision, if it's even been made in the scope that I have been informed that it has been, which we don't know for sure, that has been 100% squared away. I have no doubts whatsoever.
Senator Seeley.
I know that the program that I use through Canvas for my online class was on this lockdown browser. It has the same requirement that you shut down all windows and download an app, but it doesn't give remote access to anyone, and you just can't use the internet, because my professor allows you to use the books, the physical notes that you take, because she doesn't want to grade crappy exams. Like, she wants to be able to grade well. And so I think that does, I don't know, it keeps academic integrity intact with professors that want to allow their students to use books, but those that don't should be able to use books. Students should pay to take their exams.
Martin, can try to go in.
Secretary McDaniel.
This is everything that I think we need to push towards the provost coming next week. And remember your questions and remember this discussion, because you can just kind of pound this on him and he'll be able to answer all these questions. I don't know if he can't come. Is there like something we can make where we can create like
I've sent
all of
him
these questions?
an extensive list of questions via email, and hopefully he can respond to that, and if bare minimum, we will have that, and I can continue a dialogue with him over email. But in an ideal world, he would be here next week to sort of give us more information, and we can decide that the decision has been made and our concerns have been addressed, or if we do need to adopt a physical resolution that would be sent into administration to have them made aware of our concerns and our need for the university to take action in this matter.
Senator Johnson.
The town hall is tomorrow, can we discuss this?
The town hall is about the athletic fee, and I mean, I don't think there's a rule saying you couldn't bring it up, but I think it would distract from the importance of the athletic fee.
Secretary McDaniel.
I also think this is technically like quote unquote a rumor right now. And so not necessarily bring it up in town hall might just stir the pot until we actually like have someone here or have that question answered that this is going to be happening. Because I mean, a teacher's quite reliable, but you just want to make sure that it's like intact.
Vice President Seeley.
Motion to table until next week.
It's been motioned and seconded to table this until next week. All those in favor of tabling, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right. That has been tabled.
Good discussion.
Is there any other new business at this point?
Okay.
All right. There's no new business. Advisor comments?
I think you ought to get discussion on the issue. I do agree that you ought to either gather more information before trying to take any action. I think we made a good comment that this may not be university-wide, but programs that are using it address those concerns. I just think you ought to divide up the table and say, in regards to the question about the town hall, I prefer it was stick to the athletic fee and the master plan. I think he's going to address the master plan, correct?
He will be there for a little bit.
So those are the two things I think that needs to be the focus on. But the purpose of the town hall is for the athletic. I do want to encourage, I know Preston said it, but I too want to encourage everyone to, if you can be there, please be there and bring your student groups, friends. I think it's important that the campus community understands why we
Secretary McDaniel.
I know we briefly discussed it, but John just reiterated Zoom. I know I'll be in clinical, but someone will be accessing Zoom. I just want to make sure that I told John the right thing.
Link will be sent out first thing in the morning.
Okay.
To all students.
Okay. John, got that?
Any announcements at this point? Senator Seeley?
The $2,000 for the water filling stations was approved, and various facilities have been installed by the end of the season.
Woohoo! Go Braylon.
Any other announcements? Secretary McDaniel, would you dispense second roll call, please?
President Timmelman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley.
Here.
Treasurer McLeod. Parliamentarian Hicken. Senator Mendez. Senator Dwad.
Here.
Senator Dare.
Here.
Senator Hendricks. Senator Johnson. Senator Williams. Senator Perez. Senator Duda. Senator Williams. Senator Freshour. Senator Nagarajan. Senator Mosley. Senator Garrison. Senator Chauncey. Senator Kaufman. Senator Pellegale. Senator Method. Senator John.
Here.
Oh, sorry. Senator John.
Here.
Senator.
Here.
Senator Iniguez. Senator Meek. Senator Robertson. Senator Levanka. Senator Daniel. Senator Van Zook. Senator Dukes. Senator Fruit.
Here.
Senator Osteen. Senator Dang. Senator Mazat. Senator Cooper. Senator Thomas. Senator Morrison. Senator Cox. Senator Gobble. Senator Adams. Senator Strong. Senator Copeland. And Senator Seeley.
Senator Sweetman. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and seconded to adjourn. All those.
Yeah, I.
Yep. Everyone say aye.